Okay, everybody, this is the only lesson I need to do. Everything else has a video for it, which I'm kind of happy about. So this one is going to be on tangents. So if you remember, tangents are lines that um, touch the circle only at one point. So let's read this. A tangent line intersects a circle at exactly one point, which is right there, called the point of tangency. Okay, so that's point A is your point of tangency. A line tangent to the circle, if and only if it is perpendicular perpendicular to a radius. So if you look perpendicular, remember, that's this little guy right there. Okay, so it's that 90 degrees means it's perpendicular. If you remember, your radius is going to be PA is your radius. Okay. The tangent line. Okay, so your tangent line is going to be AB. Okay, your tangent line's your AB. And again, your perpendicular symbol right there is where your radius PA and your AB come together. Okay, so with all of that said, how are we going to figure out these problems? Well, we want to determine, so that if we're looking at the very first problem, so looking at problem number one, sorry. We want to determine if AB is tangent to circle P. Okay, so we're looking at this right here, if that's tangent. In order for that to be tangent, okay, we need a 90 degrees right here. We need to have that 90 degrees. In order for that to be a 90 degrees, we need to see if that's a right triangle. If we can prove that that's a right triangle, then we've got tangent line there. How do we prove that? Well, Pythagorean theorem. Okay, so if that's a right, if we want that to be a right angle, then this we're going to assume is going to be C. We're going to assume that to be C. We can assume this to be A or this to be B. It doesn't matter which ones those are. So we're going to assume, okay, so 8 squared plus 15 squared. We're hoping those are going to be equal to 17 squared. Okay, so we're going to go through 64 plus 225. Does that equal 289? Well, what does that equal? Lo and behold, 289. Does that equal 289? Yes. So is it tangent? Yes, it is. Okay. So if we look at this one over here, what we want to find out is that a right angle, meaning is it perpendicular? So again, we want to assume that this is C over here. So 11 squared, okay, 11 squared plus 14 squared, does that equal 5 squared? Did I do something wrong here? Of course I did. I want you guys to see something. Do you see how this right here is 11? Okay. This 5 right here only works for that right there. That's only 5. We need to add that right there. We need to make that a 5 right there too. I mean that 11. So our C over here is actually 5 plus 11 squared. Okay, so 121 plus 196, does that equal, now this right here is going to be our 16 squared, which is 256. This right here is 317. Does that equal 256? No. So if it's asking us, determine if AB is tangent to the circle, when it's asking to find if it's tangent, you need to use your Pythagorean theorem. Okay? All right. So I'm just going to go to the next page for our notes. So for the next one, it says if JK is, so it's saying if it is tangent. Okay, if it is tangent. So now what you can assume is, okay, it's tangent. I can make that right angle right there. Okay? We want to find L, or find X. So you use your Pythagorean theorem again. So 7 so we're going to do 7 squared plus 19 squared equals our x squared. Remember, across from the 90 is going to be our c. So 7 squared is your 49 plus your 19 squared, which is your 361. Does that equal, oh, we have to figure out x squared. So then this right here is your, I don't know what's going on, 410. And remember, square root both sides. Okay. So x equals, and remember to round to the nearest tenth. Okay. So square root of 410 is going to be, oops, is going to be 20.2. Okay, 20.2. So for number, let's look at number 5. So again, with number 5, see how this is 10 here? That's the radius. You also have to put number 10 there. So this whole thing right here is 10 plus x. Okay, 10 plus x. Or you can state that this is just y, which would be much, much easier. So to do all this, and remember this is your right angle there. So what you would want to do here is you want to do y squared equals 24 squared plus 10 squared. So then y squared equals the 24 squared plus the 10 squared. We all know what, 24 squared is. I'm sorry, the 10 squared. So the 24 squared, wow, my pen is leaving a lot of marks here. Sorry about that, you guys. So let's try this again. Y squared equals the 576 plus the 100, excuse me, which gives me your 676. If I take the square root, I get 576. I get 24. Okay. So, did I get that right? Square root. Okay, little correction. Square root of 676 is 26. So if this right here, okay, so if y is actually 10 plus x. So then if I subtract my 10 here, x equals 16. Okay. Let's look at number 7. If this right here is 3.5, then this right here is also 3.5. So this whole thing is 7. And if we go back up here, it said that JK is tangent. So JK is tangent to the circle, which means this right here is my right angle. So 7 squared plus 6.4 squared equals x squared. So we get 49 plus 40.96 equals x squared. $89.96 equals x squared. So x equals 9.5. So I'm not gonna, I will do number 8. If this right here is x, this right here is x. Okay? But instead of doing it with, what the heck? Instead of having to do a lot of x squares, we're just going to let this be y. And remember, it said that JK was tangent, so there's my right angle. So 25 squared equals 7 squared plus y squared. So 25 squared is 625 equals 49 plus y squared. Subtract the 49. Let's cancel. I get 576 equals y squared. Take the square root and we get y equals 24. Okay, so this is y. Y is made up of x plus x, which is 24. So what does x got to be? Well, x has got to be 12. Okay, so last thing, more tangent properties. More tangent properties. So if two segments, okay, so A, B, and CB, from the same external point, so this external point right there, are tangent to the circle. So if they're tangent, that means that they have this 90-degree angle, okay, then they are congruent. So they are congruent, right? Now, if a polygon, meaning this polygon, this any type of polygon, is circumscribed around a circle, so it's around the circle, then all sides are tangent. So meaning they are tangent here. They hit the point of tangency. If you were to draw your radius out to the point of tangency, you would have a 90 degrees there. Okay, you would have a nice 90 degrees. Okay. So if we go down here and look, wait, sorry, let's go back up. I missed something. If a polygon is circumscribed around the circle, then all sides are tangent. What also happens here is these are congruent. These are congruent because you go back over to this. Okay. And then those are congruent. So because of this over here, using this, okay, you can get information over here. Okay, so you looking at this one, finding x here. Okay. Find each value or measure. Assume the segments appear to be tangent are tangent. So AB and CB are tangent. You're saying that, and they're coming from a point B, sorry, which means these guys are congruent. All right. So 8x minus 19 equals 5x plus 23. Solve it all the way down. X equals 14. Same thing with 11. These are going to be congruent. 14x minus 13 equals 8x plus 5. Solve it all the way down. X equals 3. But it wants you to solve for PQ. Well, PQ is equal to 14x minus 13. So 14 times the 3 minus the 13, which is equal to 29. Okay, so the next problem, look at 12. So it says to assume that if it's tangent, it's tangent. Well, if this is tangent, then there's a 90 degrees and there's a 90 degrees. So I'm going to move that back up there. There we go. And if it's tangent, that means that this is congruent to that. So if that's the case, before I do that, hold on a second. I'm also looking for SV. So I'm actually looking for that line right there. So if I know that these two things are congruent, 10x minus 41 equals 4x plus 7. Subtract my 4x. I'm going to add my 41. So I get 6x equals 48, x equals 8. All right, so I got my 8. Because of this right here, okay, I have information for this triangle right here. So I might as well figure out what this length is. So I'm going to plug that into there. So 10 times 8 minus the 41. So I get 80 minus 41, which ST equals 39. So this right here is 39. So let's make this Y right there. So now I have this triangle where this is S, this is T, this is V, this is 17, this is 39, and I'm making this Y. This is my 90 degrees. So I have 39 squared plus 7 squared equals Y squared. So 39 squared plus hopefully you guys understand where I'm getting all this from. 39 squared is 1,121 plus the 49 equals the y squared. This is 1,810 equals y squared. Oops. So then I take the square root, I get y equals 42.5 for my y. Okay. Let's look at 14. We're looking at 14, it wants us to find the perimeter, meaning I have to add up all the sides of the quadrilateral. I want you to remember that this is going to equal that. Okay. This one will equal that one. This one will equal that one. And that one will equal that one. Okay. So let's make this work. So if that's 23 right there, then right here is 23. Okay. If that's 23, then 37.5 minus the 23 is 14.5. So 14.5. I'm doing it this way because I have to shrink it. That goes right there. Oh, these are not cooperating. Okay, so if that's 14.5, this right here has to be 14.52. Okay, if that's 27.1, this has to be 27.1. Okay, if this whole thing is 52.5 and that's already 27.1, yes, I am particular. You guys all know that by now. So what you have to do is you have to do 52.5 minus 27.1, which is 4, 5, 2. So 25.4. And I need to clone it. That's going to go there. And it's going to go there. Okay, so now that I have all of that in place, okay, I need to find the perimeter. Now, oops, that didn't work. So the perimeter is going to equal all of this added up to each other. Now, why do we have to do that? If we already had this and we have this, I need to be able to find these guys over here. So 37.5 plus the 52.5, we already had those, plus these guys right here. So 14.5, the 27.1, the 23, and then the 25.4. So I had to do, I did this one, I did that, I did this one, and I did that, and then I did this one, and I did this one. If you add up all of those, I think it comes out to that. Yeah, it comes out to 180. And we're done. That's it. Ta-da! Okay. Your homework will, I think, is already up on Google Classroom. If not, it will have directions up there. All right. Hopefully that was easy enough for you guys. If not, please ask me questions during class.